Traditional forecasting is done, and I'm pretty sure everybody's probably doing this too. I don't know how many people are really getting into multivariate forecasting at this point, but forecasting is traditionally done on order data or on demand data. And then you're just looking at historic demand data and you're just predicting it out, predicting demand into the future with that data. I mean, it's a very simple approach. It allows for simple equations. But when you think about, again, when you think about the data that's available today and how much is out there and the processing power that you have, I mean, you should be taking advantage of that additional data, right? I mean, there's gotta be more value in data that's around you rather than just orders. And then the other thing that's happening today is that we always think in sort of deterministic terms. When you develop a forecast, like if I want to figure out the forecast for like December, how many units I'm going to sell in December, generally a forecast is going to generate one number. It's going to be like you're going to sell 20 units in December. But that isn't really, I mean, with modern forecasting and with the stuff that's coming out now, you've got two things happening. One is you've got multivariate forecasting. So you've got the opportunity to bring a lot more information into a forecast, which is cool, right? Because you want to capture, you want to have as much information as possible to make your forecast. And the other thing that you're getting are probabilistic forecasts. So you're not just getting a single number, a single point in time. You're also getting a range of potential outcomes. So it's like, instead of saying that we're going to get 10 units in December, we're going to get anywhere from, you know, maybe it's 8 to 11, like you're really confident in it. Or maybe it's 1 to 20, you know, it could be something you're not confident in. And when you have that sort of information, you may make a very different investment decision about your inventory. So I think it's just, again, these are sort of emerging ideas. I think that a lot of the new forecasting algorithms that are coming out are able to take multivariate data source, or multivariate data, and generate probabilistic results. And so I just had an example here. This is a project that we've had out for, I think it's been running for a few years now, but it's called demand sensing. And demand sensing is what we do when we can't really generate a forecast. We don't have enough demand history to actually generate a forecast. So what we did is we brought in other data sources to help us. So what other information could we use to predict whether something is going to sell if it doesn't sell very frequently? And so for items that are selling, you know, a few times a year, it's really hard to come up with a forecast for those items. But what we can do is look at it probabilistically and say, you know, there's an X% chance that this stuff is going to sell, and if we think there's a 60% chance it's going to sell within the next 3 months, we can make a decision then on whether we're going to stock it or not. And so in this example, we brought in inventory history, we brought in all these web behaviors. So we have a huge website, which is super valuable to us. So we can look and see how people are interacting with these products online. And from those interactions, even if they're not ordering them, you can learn a lot about their potential to order. You know, if someone's looking at the price, if they're looking at availability, if they're looking at technical documents, those are all really good indicators that something is going to be ordered in the future. So we use that a lot. And then order history, yeah, that's just, we throw that in there too. And then from all of those inputs or those features, we generate machine learning models which come up with probabilities. But this is I wanted to make this point too, because I think this is super cool. So when you're managing, you know, you're always managing your level of inventory. You know, you don't want to have, there's times in the business cycle where you want to be very aggressive with your inventory, and there's times when you really want to pull back. And the really cool thing about probabilities or probabilistic models is that you can actually adjust. You can just dial it up or dial it down. So like, and over the years, we've done this multiple times. When China was like, you know, our business is slowing, we need to pull back, we can just dial back the model and it'll start to reduce the inventory in China. When there was another period too when we were cranking things up, can't remember when, but we've also gone the other way on it. But I think that's a really cool idea, that you can just kind of turn a knob or change a threshold and you can bring in inventory or take it away. And so this is the other thing. This is Alina's slide, but I guess the point of this slide was just that there is so much going on in forecasting today. You know, and we have these simple methods that have been around. The traditional methods have been around for a while, but all of this stuff, these machine learning methods are new. And what's really cool is when you look at the years that these have come out, most of this stuff has come out, or a lot of this stuff, like AutoML is really new too. I don't think that's been, I mean, it's been around, but it hasn't been effective until recently. But a lot of this stuff has really been accelerating in development over the past couple of years. So it's just cool. There's a lot of opportunity here that I think you need to be thinking about, and hopefully you're able to take advantage of it. Another one that's down here too, so Times FM. So we have a really good relationship with Google, and we work with their consulting team a lot. And so maybe, I think it was like last summer, we did a project with them where they came in and they took our data, and then they basically ran a bunch of algorithms and tests against our data to see if they could, to see if they can prove some of the things that they're working on. And one of them is called Times FM, and the idea of Times FM is it's like when you think about like Gen AI models where you're looking at patterns of words or something, they're also looking at patterns of demand, and they're using that to create the model. And then the model is predicting or forecasting based on the historic demand patterns that it's seen. But it's super cool, and that hasn't come out yet. But I think, I guess what I learned from that is that there's just a lot of opportunity coming up. The other thing I learned from this, which I thought was really cool, is that the way that Google works when they came in, everything was an experiment. They were very, very disciplined. Everything was like kept in a notebook. It was just like it was just like how a chemist works or a biologist. There's like a lab notebook. There's experiments that are run. They mark everything down. And then in the end, they're always learning, and they're always kind of optimizing and moving forward. I thought that was pretty cool.